everyone. This is Tal from Dark Forest Labs, a community where developers, researchers, and marketers explore how AI is shaping the way we connect, build, and create. And today we're joined by the scientists and the scientists in our community, which is a really great extension for us. And we're really looking forward to building our lab, not only from marketing and technological perspective, but also from scientific. Today, we're launching our first recorded lab talk. I'm joined here by Dr. Igor Khalatian. Igor has spent over 2 decades working with artificial intelligence. He holds a PhD in computer science, was a vice president of Oracle for over 8 years. He holds not less than 14 patents. And maybe the most important fact of all, he climbed the Mount of Everest, which is also the rare thing and great achievement. In this conversation, we will explore how AI meets human attraction. We'll talk about where the idea of using artificial intelligence in dating came from, how his platform uses AI differently from everyone else, and what types of attraction truly define how people connect from lust and attachment to what Igor calls true attraction. So, Igor, welcome. Let's begin.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us a bit, where did the idea to use artificial intelligence in the world of dating even coming from?
Sure. So I remember the time when I was sitting, I live in New York, so I was in Starbucks, sitting in Starbucks having coffee. It was February, and and the woman walked in, and like they say in literature, in quarter of a second, I was out of breath, right? And later on, I was always interested, in the way brain works, because there is a lot of similarities between neural networks and brain, as you know. And I start analyzing what happened in that moment later on as a scientist. And I noticed several important facts. Number one, my brain was telling me that I'm attracted to her instantly before I knew anything about her, right? So what are we concluding from there? That this attraction, I'm right now talking about facial attraction or true attraction, is independent from the information about the person, right? I had no idea about her religion, political views, lifestyle, but the brain is telling you that you're attracted to this person. So that's a fact number one. It's independent from additional information. Very important to remember that. The second, and why is this important? Because, when we have conversation about dating specifically, right? What is important for you this is very, very relevant. So, no reliance on additional information. Number two, it happened instantaneously. It was, so quick that she didn't have time to move, smile, because again, some people are saying, what is attraction? Maybe, how person moves, how he smiles, smell, other factors. Of course, those are important, and I'll talk in a second about different types of attraction which exist there. But right now, I'm talking about facial attraction, true attraction that happens instantaneously. So that's a fact number two. By the way, later I discovered that when that happens, when you attract it strongly to somebody, your brain is releasing three chemicals: serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. One of them is actually suppresses the appetite, right? So when they say you fall in love and you cannot eat, that's really true. So then I start digging in, and what I discovered is that who you find attractive, instantly attractive, is actually influenced by your ancestors, going all the way back, 50,000 years plus, whom they chosen as a partner, what climate they lived in, etc., etc. So, so so that's why we say that this is your attraction DNA, because when you're born, you already have in your brain an ideal um, facial image. And if you meet in real life people who come closer to that ideal, your brain immediately reacts with that reaction, releasing those chemicals. So because obviously I was in the world of AI, my first question was, by the way, I just want to say, as I'm doing AI for 20 years, and the mathematics of AI actually started in 1950s, 80 years, and we're going back. So, 70 years. So, but when I was talking about AI, and especially AI and dating 5 years ago, people thought that I'm an idiot, like first of all, what is AI? Well, why is it even relevant, right? Now everybody is kind of Me Too movement, right? Like we're also doing AI, everybody does that. So anyway, so I asked myself a question: is it possible to build an artificial intelligence which will understand my type? Like when I say my type, I'm specifically referring to: is it possible for AI to in the universe of people out there, in we talk about dating apps, we talk about webcams, we're talking about in general, engagement. Is it possible to find a face which will trigger that reaction in my brain? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I call my type or my attraction DNA. So, um, long story short, I actually founded the company Ideal Matching. We're able to build that kind of AI. We had to overcome a lot of technical difficulties because AI is data hungry. It needs a lot of data, right? Like the But if you, for example, want to use it for a dating app or other uses, you need to train AI rather quickly, because you cannot be sitting for weeks training AI about your type. It needs to happen very quickly. And so we succeeded in that regard. And yes, we that allows us to build an AI which then we start using in different applications, which I'm happy to talk about. But this is how the idea came about. It's a true story. Just sitting in Starbucks having coffee. So I recommend going to Starbucks and recommend having coffee quite often. Who knows? Maybe we have another idea for the business, right?
It's often said that the
Coffee.
best ideas coming from real life experience or from real life need, pain, or lack of solution. So for you, it was mainly at first understanding why it's all happening, and then you discover the chemicals and the pattern we all born with. And this raised many interesting questions. If we're born with one pattern coded, how we come to find ourselves with different types of person, with different type of looks during the life, during our romantic experiences in our life. And we might choose rightly or wrongly, or is the attraction is all we need to build a relationship? It's really just a first glimpse, and then we need much more. What would you think like about dating beyond matching, about dating as a process, building a relationship?
Sure,
How AI
sure,
can be part of it?
sure. Well, first of all, it's important to understand that there are three types of attraction. By the way, there's a Harvard paper on this. It's well documented. So the first type is facial attraction, which I talked about, and I think it's the strongest one. No, sorry, not I think. I have a data which proves that this is the strongest one in analytics, so we can talk about this more. But there's a facial attraction, there's a sexual attraction, and there is a third type of attraction called compatibility. So sometimes it's called cuddle hormone when you want to cuddle with somebody, right? Like you watch a movie, watch a sunset. This is more of like a friendship, like kind of we're close spirits. Now, I would say all types of attraction are important, right? Like quite often when we say there's three types of attraction, people start like competition starts between which attraction is most important. Like, and I'm just like always like for example, people say, this being feeling close to a person and sharing the interest is extremely important, as if it's a competition with other types of attraction. It's not, right? Like ideally, you want to have all three types of attraction present in whatever relationship you have with the person.
For sure.
Now, here's an important thing. Um, First of all, it is common for one type of attraction be present only, for example. No, let's take sexual attraction, right? But the other two are absent, or maybe two are present, the other is absent, etc. So there are compromises on what type of attraction you experience with this person to begin with, if it's not all three. Second compromise, which is, if we talk about dating, is even more common, is you attracted to the person, but the person is not attracted to you, or vice versa. That's even more common, and I tell you why. Because mutual attraction is extremely rare. Let me speak as a mathematician. If I ask you a question, let's say you just let's say you're in New York and you're walking on Times Square, or on the streets, etc. How many faces you need to see in order to one face to immediately catch your attention? You have this reaction, which I had when I was in Starbucks. So different people answer differently, one in 1,000, one in 10,000, one in 100,000. But the lowest we've heard in our interviews, and by the way, we launched this technology with a product called Iris Dating, and we over 4 million people actually use this technology, and we conducted extensive interviews with the people. So I'm right now sharing you the insights of what we discovered. So people said at the minimum one in 1,000, and in order for me to see the face which catches my attention. And so if it's your attraction, one in 1,000, and if it's one in 1,000 for everybody, let's just assume and let's just average, then the mutual attraction is 1,000 square, right? It's almost like playing a roulette in casino. You spin the ball. There's a chance that you hit zero, for example, one in 1,000. But now imagine that two wheels are spinning and they both should hit zero at the same time.
Or very simple mathematics, you need how many million swipes in Tinder to create a match?
So you need a million, in order, if you're really looking for that kind of feeling that you like the person, the person likes you back, you need a million swipes. And by the way, you will be faced with the following pattern repeatedly. You will swipe 1,000 times, you will find somebody you really like, but that person will not respond. You don't give up, you go the next 1,000, next 1,000. So you will repeat this pattern 1,000 times, swiping a million times in total, until finally you find somebody you like and that person likes you back. So no, like, and by the way, what is the million swipes, right? If you swiping, 100 profiles a day, which is a lot of commitment, I think you need like 30 years to so
That's
so
correct.
by the
We all
time.
understand the dating platforms narrowed for us by even basic properties, the age, maybe some appearance preferences. So we're looking in some more narrow segment. The question is, did they narrow it correctly, or is it
Yes.
really what I'm choosing as preference? Is really that what I'm looking for? Is there a difference?
Exactly. So here's the thing. Dating apps have no idea about who you find attractive. They know who is popular, it's different, and we'll talk about this, what's the difference, right? But they don't know your type, they don't know who you find attractive, and they don't know who finds you attractive ahead of time. So they don't want you, so they have to narrow the pool somehow for you, right? So they will narrow the pool by location, which is most common, as well as other attributes which you mentioned. So they teach everybody that those parameters which you filter people by are the most important ones because they had no alternative. They didn't know who you find attractive. And that created a culture in online dating, for example, where everybody thinks that, for example, distance filtering is the most important thing. So they put for example, 10-mile radius. I only want a person within this radius. What happens if there's somebody who is 12 miles away, who is an amazing match for you, right? You would not even know about that person's existence because you just filtered them out. Because dating app just told you that that distance filter was the most important thing you have to do in order to find your match. So you can see that how this creates a situation where 80% of people who use dating apps are frustrated, right? The core of their frustrations comes from the constant mismatch. Uh, I don't like who you're suggesting to me, or I'm liking somebody, but that person does not respond. But if you have artificial intelligence which understands your type, which is exactly our AI engine, then that AI can swipe for you. It can swipe a million while you're sleeping. It can swipe, find the people who find you attractive, but that AI also understands who find you attractive. And therefore, it introduces people who are mutually attracted to each other. And now I believe the right approach is as follows. Now you decide, is this person close or far? Or, for example, you're a Republican and the person is Democrat. I'm talking about American politics here for a second. Is this a deal breaker? Now, here's what this.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is.
Let me say this. If attraction level is not very high, those things become very important. However, there is a saying in every culture that when you fall in love, love is blind. Like, what does it mean, right? Love is blind means that when you fall in love, your other list of requirements becomes not important. You compromise, etc. Right? So we believe that the right way of starting is with attraction. You have to start with attraction. If you're attracted to each other, you then decide if these other qualities about your potential partner is so important that you want to you will say no, or you will say yes because your attraction is strong. Now, let me share another insight. So we went on a dating app and we asked the question using the text, are you willing to do a long distance dating? 90% answered no, I don't want to do long distance. Then we did something else. For each of those people, we find the people who are their type, who they will be attracted to. And we said, would you like to date this person, but that person is far away, not close to you? 90% says yes. Why? Because we start with attraction, they actually visualize who that person is. It's not abstract anymore, right? And then it flips. So that's why I'm saying dating or love is not a job interview. You cannot start with the list of your requirements like you start with a job, and say that unless this is all perfect, I'm not dating. But people doing it today, why? Because in majority of cases, attraction levels is low, and therefore other things become very important, right? So if you're not very attracted to the person, then it he better be, you know, financially secure and be caring for your kids, blah blah blah, with a list of other things. And similarly, if your attraction is not very strong, you are looking for other qualities to compensate for the lack of attraction. Does this make sense?
Make total sense, and make a kind of a pipeline or a flow or funnel of human psychology, where many times the technology was overlooking because lack of tools, and now we have more tools with AI to identify what comes first, what comes next. So yes, in the classical dating world, all these forms you've been filling, like the job interview, right? Before Tinder, before any this perception of more instant attractions, we dating being a job interview, to be sincere, and it's changing. Um, you mentioned that 5 years ago, nobody took seriously understand, specifically, especially the end user, what AI is, what's part of our life, why do we need it. But today it changed, like a revolution had happened, and it's really AI finding its place in our everyday lives. And there's a lot of question arising about user behavior, place of the technology, and how technology presented and marketed sometimes. And I have a question for you, but this will be a scientific, I think. Questions, not just a market question. Should AI be visible or transparent for user embedded in the products and technologies in the services because of psychological perception of it? And I will explain a bit what I mean by this question. The AI that swipes for you, this million swipes over the night, you can present it as a product, as a feature, as a power, as a technology, and tell the user, listen, AI will make this much. Trust AI. On the other hand, you can just do it in the product without saying him and provide the same results. On the scientific and psychological level of the user, will the user that today knows or does not know the AI is in place in the game, what will be the better result for the product, for the potential match, for the potential date, when he knows AI in the play, or when he's not aware and we're just doing the job for him?
It's a great question. So let me answer the following way. When we were actually launching Iris Dating, when you register with Iris Dating and then answer basic questions about your age, who you're looking for, etc., then we take you through the process, which is called Iris Training, where we show you a series of photographs, and we ask you if you like or dislike them, etc., and then AI learns. So, and the process may take 3-5 minutes, and so we went to a very large marketing company at the time in New York, and that company told us that this is brilliant idea, this is great. The only thing they're concerned about is duration of this onboarding or training, because people are, if they even have to wait 2 seconds, they're frustrated, right? And let alone 3-5 minutes. Um, and um, and they said, this is our concern. I said, I don't think I don't think it's and remember, this was 5 years ago. People still did not know what AI was, etc. And inside, our company, we actually had several marketing people providing competing opinions. One, for example, person was very strongly suggesting that we should not use AI because it will scare people away. Um, and others saying, no, this is our competitive advantage. Let's talk about this. Here's what we discovered after the years. First of all, we discovered that when the people who go through the training and they start feeling that AI starts to understand their taste, how it works. The first phase we show random photographs, and then after the few likes and several dislikes, it goes to phase two where AI starts to understand your type, and you start feeling you feel excitement. You feel we even did a test where group of people were wearing the helmets, and we were measuring their brain activity. And there was excitement level. There was four different levels. Were I forgot exactly which ones, but excitement grew as they were going through this process of training. Whereas marketing was that consultants initially were telling us people will get tired of because of the long process. The opposite happened. There were excitement grew, and by the time they were finished with the process and they understood that AI now understands their type, their excitement was at peak level. So, uh, long story short, I think it's my personal opinion because sure, there are people out there who are still scared about AI. There are people who are misunderstand AI. For example, they maybe think if we talk about dating, I had people writing in the comments, I don't want to date robots, right? Like it's we're not suggesting you do, although there are now we see successful companies which are actually creating these AI girlfriends and you date them, but we are not doing it in our thing. AI just it's a predictive, it's not generative AI, it's a predictive AI. So it helps you to find a real person who matches your type, right? So it's a very different type, but there is a risk of misunderstanding of what your AI does, right? My I don't have a sort of like uh, perfect answer for you because we're still in the research kind of phase in this. But my intuition, not is that I would be I would be upfront about it. I would say we're using AI. AI is understanding you because if at the end of the day. I think the fear will start diminishing as this becomes more and more common. And by the way, I just want to say that if we indeed, this is very similar to, for example, Spotify or Pandora services, where you listen to the music and they just basically catch the pattern of which music you like the most, or Netflix and so, that does the same thing and start suggesting more and more the music which your type, which you enjoy.
But would you say your model does the same or it's different because it's AI?
The model which, basically, if you look at our model, which finds your type of the face, is very similar to the
Yes.
model which is finds your type of the music. It's in that sense, it's similar. It just, yeah. What triggers this reaction in your brain is what triggers your impression when you listen to the right music.
With so many generative tools today, and we're talking today, we started 5 years ago, but today with so many generative tools, and when you predict at such a high level, why not to take prediction to generation? Why keep it in real life dating or on real live dating only? Is it a marketing decision? Is it a product decision? Is it a scientific decision? Or is it an ethical principle decision?
It's a great question. No, there is. I think this technology, which we have, is universal. It can be applied to real people. It can be applied to, generated people like AI girlfriend, etc. But basically, what we do is imagine that when you generate, say, AI girlfriend, right, like which some services do, we can actually advise what needs to be generated to be a perfect fit for you. Like every time you open this and talk to her, your brain is just releasing those hormones like crazy, right? So you get addicted. You want to spend, conversing more time, with her. Different services monetize this differently. Some are monetized by generation, some monetized by the duration you actually speak with the person, et cetera, et cetera. But we definitely can improve conversions for those services when we advise them what to generate or after we understand your attraction, DNA basically. So there is a universal appeal. Same thing, for webcam services where we talk about the perfect model, right? Or perfect models, which which it's not just sexual attraction, which is important. We talked about three types of attraction: sexual, compatibility, and facial. But if you combine sexual attraction with the facial attraction, all of a sudden impact is 100 times stronger, and it affects the conversion rates and everything else.
Yeah, thank you. One question, I think it will be a closing one for us. It's about our community, about our Dark Forest Labs, and yours are the first and very appreciated science pillar of the community. In your lab, in the Dark Forest Labs, what people you want to call out to come and join you in research of attraction? Who will be interesting for you? What types of people, what types of professionals to discuss with the topics, to get more brainstorm, to get more insight, to write some blueprint of idea?
Sure. So attraction is a fascinating area. I was um, I was actually reading Plato. We're now going back to 2,500 years. You know, um, Relative importance of different types of attraction, et cetera, et cetera. It's amazing that in your analytics you have answers to the questions which were actually posed 2,000 years ago, right? And you can see the data. Now, this is fascinating. So anybody who is um, in dating, anybody who is in, dating, different types of dating, adult dating, webcams, etc., and trying to solve a problem, I would enjoy conversing with them and brainstorming. I also want to mention that when you find a type which triggers this reaction in your brain, it also affects advertising. Imagine endless scrolling. We are scrolling the Instagram feeds, the Facebook feed, TikTok, etc. Everybody is thinking about what to show in order for you to stop just for a second, right? Because if you stop, if you pause, conversion rates or whatever they're selling will increase several percentage points. So if we find an image which matches your, DNA, attraction DNA, you will stop, you will pay more, you will convert better, right? So it's advertisers, it's people in dating, it's people in this areas which I just mentioned, all of them. I think there is a opportunity now with this new AI to frankly solve. I'm trying not to use the words like make more people happy because it's such a words which everybody is using. But this is true. Like if imagine somebody who is suffering really in dating because they're in a constant mismatch situation, right? They think that it's impossible to find the person of their dreams, and it's time to compromise and settle down, right? Our message to them: you don't have to settle, you don't have to compromise on your dreams. It's now possible. But I have technology, but I would enjoy partnering with people who have large databases of people behind their systems so we can make more people happy.
This is a really noble goal. Um, Tell me, can you think about some like maybe experiment for our audience, some behavioral experiment that related to the AI that the people that will be watching us can, let's say, make at home by observation, by thinking, by spotting. to leave them with something interesting to follow up with their own brains to your ideas.
Sure. I was thinking about the most striking thing is showing people how this um, training works, like when AI understands your type, right? This is my problem is this is very individual, and like who you find attractive will differ from who I find attractive. I actually did the test yesterday. One person was, oh my God, this is so basically after we went, I showed him two data sets, one prediction, one random. And for him, it was like, oh my God, this is like so obvious. This is who I like. But the other two people who were observing, they couldn't find the difference between random and prediction because that prediction was for that person. But I think what will be eye-opening for the audience in general when they watch those things, they suddenly realize how different we are in terms of our who we like, right? Just by observing this process. Because in our brain, we're absolutely sure that if we like somebody, the entire world likes her as well or him, etc. Right? So um, last example, I said sometimes your friend comes to you and says, "Oh my God, I met this girl. She's incredible. The most beautiful in the world." And then shows you her picture, and you look, and you want to be polite and say, "Yeah, sure, not bad, but not the one you would have chosen, right?" And so that is again an example of how different we are in our preferences. And we didn't have time today to talk about your attraction versus popularity, but that's what everybody is using in media, in dating. They don't know who your type, but they show you who is popular. So all attention goes to a very small pool of popular people just because they don't know who you find attractive, individual on an individual basis.
So, yeah, great thing. True attraction, no compromise, and not popularity rate. And it's very interesting. It's controversial to maybe any perception of social networks, right? Like it's all about popularity and all about also pure popular opinions. If you go and talk about Reddit or popular content, if you go and talk about Instagram or whatever, and there's attraction, it's not necessarily popularity. It's a great insight I'm taking with it to my work, to my projects, to my labs. Thank you very much, Igor, for sharing your ideas and to discussing them with me. I guess all of the viewers also can do your process at Iris Dating, right? Just go and do this for themselves. This
Absolutely.
little test. So everybody welcome to download it, right? Iris Dating, and obviously more than welcome to comment and open discussion on all the channels our interview will be posted on. And you're all welcome to join Dark Forest Labs community, discuss ideas, creating blueprints, share your Q&As with us, and doing great AI and future together. Thank you very much, Igor.
Thank you. Thank you.